I'm hoping people here like React.js. And anybody with what do you call Angular? Raise your hand. Can I see something with Angular? Oh, nice. Svelte. How many with Svelte? Nice. We also in Razorpay, we use like the checkout modal is there, right? We also use Svelte in production. Like a lot of people think Svelte doesn't go well a lot. Express.js. What is Hono? Anybody wants to, tell our audience what is a Hono? Who added this? HONO.
Yeah, Hono is a framework on the normally for the web development. Means this web API is based on the web API, pure web API. This is right now in nurturing phase, but this is very interesting. So I'm using it for my personal project.
I learned about a new framework. Cool then, let's start. Let me quickly
video which we can play. Is there a sound?
Yeah, yes, I'm listening.
How we can get the sound?
We can. Where is the video?
Yeah. YouTube video. Yeah. No, it's in the same link. Look, say it's in the same. Yeah.
YouTube live.
Okay, where it is?
It's in live.
Okay. Yash, where's the video?
Yeah, it's in the second slide. Second slide of the second slide. It's not being projected. It's not being. How will the audio go from the video?
It's a Zoom one. We do have it.
Oh, okay.
Share your computer sound.
Share your computer.
Share your computer sound.
Hello. Yeah.
This technology industry is very much male dominated. Women who are in tech are not able to get a platform where they can come forward, talk to a mentor and look forward in their career. And this is how my community started. I'm Neha, I'm a developer and I'm the organizer of Meetup page JSLovers. This is a community by the developers for the developers, learning by doing coding. Initially, there were a lot of challenges. When I told my family that I'm going to start a meetup, their reaction shocked me. You are lying, you might be going to date someone. What is meetup? Why you are doing this? You have a good job. I was sad, but I really wanted to do this. I believe in myself, so I just ignored their reaction. On my first meetup, I was not able to believe that it actually happened, and the feeling was, oh my God. Slowly and gradually, everyone was talking about my community, everyone wants to associate with my community, and the most awesome part was that my family finally understood and started supporting me that yes, you are doing something good. There are many females who are actually trying to make their career in technology. This is becoming a platform through which I can connect with different women to become an example that the hiccups I face doesn't stop me. This is the success what I was actually planning and dreaming of. Our community became the most active community of India. From a digital platform, I was able to make people aware of what community is and how important it is. I am trying to make a difference out there, and last 3 years has been an incredible journey. This technology industry is very much male dominated.
All right. So that's Neha. She started this community, JSLovers in Delhi, and it expanded to many more cities now. So before we begin, I want to ask one question. How's the Josh? Can we hear that loud? How's the Josh? One more time. How's the Josh? All right. So let's keep that energy high. Thank you, Smile, for starting the session, and she will be your host of the today. My name is Yashraj, and today we are joined by Smile and Pujarini. We three are the volunteers for the JSLovers community for Bangalore, and this is a non-profit community, as you know. Anybody can come forward to apply to be a speaker. We have two amazing speakers who have joined us for good technical talks. So I'm sure you will have a great time. And I wanted to give one goal for you, for all of you. As Neha said in the video, by the way, how many of you have seen that video before? Anyone? Okay, so I guess that's a good one that we were able to showcase that the power of community, right? I myself, I'm a developer turned developer relations professional, and Smile as well. I think your journey, one of the sessions which we hosted on open source, she was still in college and she applied to be a speaker. This was 2020, right? Pandemic had just hit, and then everyone was looking for more ways to connect because we couldn't come out. So we started doing those online sessions, and we had Smile as one of the speakers. And fast forward to today, she's working at Razorpay as an engineer, right? So we never know what comes out of this community. So I want to give a goal to all of you, which is number 5. So how many of you are sitting right next to your friends? Okay, this is what exactly you should not do in a community event, right? For how many of you, this is the first ever community event? That's amazing. So a huge round of applause for all of you for showing up on a Saturday afternoon. Can we have those claps? Yeah. So this is a great, small wins matter. So if you are here, that means you are serious about your own learning. You want to learn new skills. And what brings us all together is this one shared technology, which is JavaScript, right? That is why we are here today. So number 5, as I shared, is if you are sitting right next to your friends, make sure you shuffle in the next break and meet at least 5 new people, add at least 5 new connections to your network today, right? Sure, you will learn a lot of technology skills today, or learn something new, but also we want you to build your own professional network, enhance your network. So make sure you add those 5 people, and one of the ways you can do it, let me give you a very quick hack. I know developers tend to hate LinkedIn, but if you are on LinkedIn, you can go to search, and there is this little QR code option, and if you just click on it, it shows the QR code, your own QR code, and also an option to scan. So most of you, I think many people are not aware of this. This is a very good quick hack for you to connect instantly. And yeah, so this is not about just you spending 3 hours here, but also you being a part of this community. And we look forward to having more people coming forward as speakers. Smile will be sharing a call for speakers link as well. So yeah, with that note, are you all ready to learn something new? Can I hear that loud? Yes? Right. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Coming to today's agenda, we'll have some interesting talks. How many of you have here worked with micro frontends, monorepos, or monoliths? These have become the buzzwords of today. How many of you know very nicely, very deeply about monorepos? 2 hands. 3 hands. I'm pretty sure by end of the day today, like I'll see a handful of people who will know a lot about monorepos. Then second speaker we have, how many of you have used micro task queues, call stacks? Everybody? Still very few hands. So we'll have very awesome discussions on this same thing. And I see only a very few hands. Again, this room will be full with other information about that. And then we also have a surprise element today that I'll reveal in some time. Before this, These are two very important QR codes. I guess the second one for today's generation is more one, photo albums. Who don't need photos after meetup? So this is the learning we had from our last meetup. People had this, when can you share the photos? So we are simply sharing the QR code right away. Then next, just small thing about us. So we are doing regular meetups every month, be it in Bangalore, Delhi, Pune, or Mumbai, right? You can always get connected with us via that QR code. Though in that same video of JSLovers, everything was introduced by Neha, but still I'll iterate. We as JSLovers, we are non-profit. We all do all these things out of our passion. Then it is by the developers and for the developers. Till now, we have organized like 500 sessions across the India. Just one code of conduct. We do, please be respectful to your fellow attendees. We don't handle or we don't we take code of conduct very seriously. This is a small agenda. First talk I mentioned about that is about monorepos. The second talk will not be able to have today. Our speaker had some emergency. So in this slot, don't feel disheartened. We'll do something very interesting. So then we'll have some small networking break. Then we'll have a session on callback queues and microtask queues. So in the last, we will have a fun JavaScript quiz. So this quiz will not be something related to all the prerequisite JavaScript you know. It is about the things you will learn in this session. So it's good chance to win some goodies. So let's begin. Let me introduce you to the first speaker. So the speaker is special for me. So I'll tell her a little story. She was one of the attendees in all the meetups till date. Then one day I met her, means I know her very personally. She is one of my friends. I was like, you have enough knowledge. Why don't you come forward and share it out? And she was like, no, I am very skeptical. Will I be able to share and things on those lines? But then she, pondered upon that thought and she thought, yes, I can do it. And she is also one of the speakers in CityJS International Conference that is happening next month in Delhi. So please welcome Supriya.
Right. So until Supriya is setting up, I just wanted to share these QR codes again. We are running one giveaway, a t-shirt giveaway. So you can join this photos album and you can upload your photos there. You can also tweet using JSLovers Dell handle. And one tweet we will pick from that Twitter who will win a t-shirt. Rest 3 winners will be from the quiz, which Smile mentioned about. We'll have a fun quiz in the end. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Hope you all can hear me. Great. Okay, this is as Smile said, this is the first time I'm in front of a stage. So I'm quite excited about the topic what I've prepared for you guys, as well as a little bit nervous as to facing in the crowd. I'm glad that most of you are beginners because my talk today is about introduction to monorepos. So I'm really excited to help you understand what a monorepo is and how you could create your own monorepo in this short talk today. So good afternoon. My name is Supriya Ministandram. I work as a software engineer at an edtech firm called CK12 Foundation. So I'm mainly a front-end React developer here. Along with that, I also do a lot of open source contributions. Currently, I'm a part of React Play community where we kind of join in and learn the React ecosystem together. It's a fun-loving community. We create real good projects. There was a hackathon which just got over recently. So do check that out. Along with that, yes, because we're into the front-end domain, right? Day in and day out, there are a lot of new technologies coming in, new changes coming in. So I tend to keep myself updated with that. I do share about my learnings through blogs. So do give it a read and give me suggestions on how I can do it better. And yes, today finally I can consider myself as a speaker in front of you. You can find me on these spaces. @Supman is my handle. Okay, so let's get started. I wish I could have got the answer for this question, but since all of you are into getting started with it, I would love to share what a monorepo is. So in general, by the name itself, right? When you're saying monorepo, it's just a mono repository. Repository, since all of us are familiar with how Git works, it's a single repository where you can store code for multiple projects. Projects in the sense there could be NPM packages as such. So if you're using it in a company, so your whole company's products application code could be stored in a single repository, and they can be split into different packages which can be related or they can be completely unrelated. It is not necessary that they could be of the same technologies. You could mix in front end, back end, everything, and try to maintain in such a way that you can create an application out of it. So that becomes a software development strategy. A lot of companies have picked this up. So I've named a few here: Google, Facebook, Twitter. I'm still using Twitter, not X. Pardon me for that. Microsoft, Airbnb, and yes, we at Secret will also make use of monorepos, and that's how I decided to bring this topic up. So yeah, so when we talk about monorepos, right, these are three interconnected benefits of how we can use. Why do we need to use a monorepo? Since we'll be maintaining the code in a single repository, the visibility of the whole code is available to all the developers using them. So it also becomes a better way of collaborating between developers. And because of these 2 points, our speed of development would also increase by a bit. When I talk about speed of the development, it also deals with how a single change in one point can reflect in across the applications. We'll see that in the demo coming forward. So when we talk about creating monorepos, right, there are various tools with which you can create a monorepo. Some of them are Lerna or NX, which is created by Narwhal. There's Turbo Repo, which is quite famous now because of Vercel. Since Next.js and Vercel are like tied up together, Turbo Repo is also coming into picture nowadays because of its performance. There's Rush.js by Microsoft, and Bazel is being used by Google. And lastly, there's Pants, which was being used by Twitter, and now they've slowly moved towards Bazel again. So that's an interesting topic to discuss. I do have a blog to share about. So if any of you are interested to know why Twitter decided to move away from Pants towards Bazel, we can have a discussion later. Okay, so today my main focus would be towards Lerna because they're so-called the OGs of monorepo. So when I talk about Lerna, it is also a packaging tool, a tool where you can create monorepo packages specific to JavaScript. It has a way of maintaining and publishing these in a structured manner. So they have a versatile variety of commands through which you can properly handle your versioning of each of your packages. How do you want to connect between the two? And yeah, they work in a very efficient way. They do a lot of parallel builds. It's one of the easiest way to get started in creating a monorepo. But then in April 2022, Lerna decided to go unmaintained. So they declared themselves not being maintained anymore. So after a year or so, that's when Narwhal, the creators of NX, took the stewardship of Lerna. And at this point, they did not decide to like replace Lerna with NX, but they try to provide their advantages, the leverages of powerfulness of NX into Lerna. So that is something we will be seeing today through the code. So I do have a demo to share with you. Let's get started with that. Okay, simply put, I hope it is visible to you guys. Let me know if I need to increase the font a little more. People at the back. Cool. So a very easy way of getting started is npx learner init, and this would create a package structure for you. It runs a code and creates this kind of a package structure. What happens here is you have a learner JSON created. Okay, I need to move this. Yeah. We have a version here, and it defaultly takes the schema from the learner schema stuff. But we could also have, like we can set up our own ways of properties, what we want to give here to customize our application. Then we have our package JSON. Here I can observe that I'm using the latest version of Lerna, which is 7.1.5. This has the, from 6.5 is where Lerna added the NX advantages into it. So if you observe here, we have something called workspaces. And within that, you have packages. What that does is we are defining within this package JSON saying any of the projects which I want to consider within this monorepo should be a part of the folder called packages. It need not be specified to have the same keyword. Packages is not a keyword. You can define it as per whatever folder structure you want to maintain. So since I have this as the default, I have defined my applications or projects within the packages folder. So these three, app atoms, app header, and app videos are my three different packages through which I'm creating a single product. Coming into details of each of these, app atoms, by the name it's defined, is an atoms component or a component library that I've tried to create. A very simple structure here. I'm creating a few components, let's say a button. So if I go into this, you'll be able to see that I have defined different varieties of buttons, solid, outline, text, and different colors based on primary, secondary, etc. Similarly, I've used style components for styling them. And I've also used to create test cases for these so that I can help you out, define the, when I run the yarn test, it'll be able to understand better. Next, in a similar fashion, I have image component, an input text component, and there's also something called typography, which is mainly a sugar-coated version of all the headers, how I want to define within my app. This is pretty much the atoms package. This is individual. So what is happening here is the next package, which is the header, mainly deals with creating a header for my web app. And this header in turn uses the components from my atoms package. So if I go into the source code, sorry, if I go into the package JSON of this, in my dependency list, you will be able to see that app atoms is being added as the dependency of for my header package. And then going into the app.jsx here, it's a simple header where I have a image logo, then a title, and there are buttons about logging in and logging out. I'm maintaining the user state here. So state management, I'm using a Redux toolkit to manage the state. Moving ahead, this is my main app. So I've called it app videos, where I display a few list of videos. And what's happening here is in my package JSON, you see that I'm including both app header and app atoms. So that means to say that I'm including both the packages into this main application or package of mine. And what this does is it has different routes. I'm using React router to just navigate between the app. So if I go ahead and run the demo, let's just move into the package, packages, app videos. That's what I want to run my server on. And I do a yarn. Typing in one hand is really a task. Okay. And do a yarn dev. This would start my server. Okay. One disclaimer, please don't judge me by my stylings. I've just tried to maintain, bring in focus towards the functionality rather than the stylings. So if you notice here, this is my simple header component where I have my image logo, a title header, and then buttons through my button component. All these lists are being generated through the CSS, app atoms itself. And if you observe, if I click into any of these cards, the route changes, and I can like view and understand specific videos about the monorepo further. Next, if I go ahead here into my sign in and maybe add the admin credentials, just a demo login. I haven't stored. So once I log in, not a lot of change happened, but all you see is the sign in sign up button is being replaced by a playlist. So it in turn means to say that the state has been captured. And once I click on playlist, although the state is being maintained on my header component through the React Redux reducers, I would still be able to like utilize it within my main application. So if I go into the playlist, I go into the /playlist route, and then I see videos very specific to the user as such. And then once I log out, it just goes back to the 0 state. So if right now we observe that our dev server is being run on the videos app, right? But if I go into, let's say, the header /app.js, and then I make a small change to my application here. I'll just make a change to the header. Instead of videos, I will call it JS videos now. On just clicking on the save button, it automatically changes here. Although I'm running the server on videos and I made a change to my header, the changes have been reflected. This is the powerfulness of how Lerna is creating the monorepo. So if you go into the node modules here and scroll down to find my particular applications. So next to this app atoms, header and videos, you see this small arrow mark. What that defines is Lerna is creating a symlink between these packages. So it understands that wherever you're making a change, so we made a change on the header package, it understood that the video package is making use of this header as its dependency, and it automatically reflects that atomic change across all the packages wherever it's being used. So now this being done, we got a pretty much introduction towards how Lerna is creating this monorepo setup. There are a lot more things to learn about from here with respect to how you can maintain your versioning, publishing packages, and in detail. So I wouldn't, the documentation is really good on this, so I wouldn't get into that part of it for today. Next, what I want to talk about is more with respect to how we can leverage the advantages of NX, which they have pushed into Lerna. So from Lerna 6.5 onwards, there were a few additional advantages that NX added into Lerna. And one of the main things was with respect to storing the cache. So there's, I have another branch through which I want to explain this topic. So what happens here is, so by calling, we have a command called npx lerna add caching. And what that would do is it'll ask you a set of commands through which, what do you want to cache? How do you want to run them? In which order do you want to make things work? So by doing so, it'll create this NX JSON file for you. And what is being defined in this file right now is we have a default task runner, which is provided by NX. And here I've defined that the cacheable operations would be the build operation and the test operation. Oops, sorry. Okay, yeah. And then by this build and test, if I scroll down, I can define what are the target defaults. What that means is I'm saying my build for each package would be stored under the project, whatever project root it is, /dist folder is the one which will have my builds. So for example, with my atoms, I have my dist folder here. This is where my builds will be. And similarly for the other packages. Then I also say that the build for a current package depends on the successful builds of my dependency packages. For example, since our header package has app atoms as our dependency, so it'll make sure that the header is built successfully only when the atoms package is built in successfully. And similarly for the videos, it'll make sure the other two are built, only then this build runs. In the same fashion, for running our test cases for a particular package, we are saying just make sure that the build for the package is run properly and successfully. Only then you can go ahead and do the testing for this package. So if I simply run a yarn build on my main repo here. So note that I'm in the root folder and I'm running yarn build. So what this would do is it'll start building each of the apps individually. So there's app atoms which is getting built. Once that is done, then it'll move towards app header. And then once that is completed, that's when it'll look into the app videos. So if it's not necessary that you just need to have 3 packages, you can have a number of it and you can decide on how do you want to connect between the two. So now we noticed that all put together, our build took 19.56 seconds to run. So at this point, if I go ahead and run the same command once again, because I've added this NX caching into it, what it would do is, since there's no changes that I've done, it automatically takes these builds from the existing cache. So it doesn't run once again, and our build process, the timings is reduced drastically. Further along, let's say I will go into the video card, which is these cards. This is a part of the video package, right? So I'll just go and make a very small change on the styling. So these cards became green color. So I made a change only to the video package and not anything else. So now if I go ahead and run the yarn build once again, something happened. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, so now if I run a yarn build again, it will make sure to check what are the things which has changed and what is not changed. So it'll run the app, it'll run the build only for app videos, whereas for the other two, wow, these two are being taken from the cache. If indeed, if I had made a change to the stylings of the button, which is the atom component and not the video app, since this button is being used across everywhere within the header as well as within these. So now if I run a yarn build, it'll go through the whole process once again, where it'll rebuild the app first. It'll check what are the new changes, rebuild the app atoms. Then it'll go ahead and build the app header with those new changes. And then finally it'll build the app videos. And this is applicable for tests as well. So for now, in this example, I've added test cases only for my app atoms and header. So if I go ahead and just say yarn test, since my builds are already ready, it'll just take those builds from the cache to verify that the builds are succeeded and only then run the tests. So it's saying 2 of 2 read from cache, which is with respect to building. And then if you had observed, it said it is doing the testing in parallel. So this is also one of the advantages from NX, that will help you run parallel processing. You could restrict it to what it is right now, or you could additionally go ahead and add the capability of NX Cloud. So NX provides their own cloud setup as well, which adds the CI pipeline for you as well. So you do have caching with NX, but you'll get a executable task as such with the cloud. You get much more capabilities to deal with. So I would like to add that and show you as well. So if you say npx nx connect to cloud, oops, nx connect to cloud, that's the command. So once you add this, it'll ask you whether you want to add distribution caching. I'll say yes and go ahead. And what this would do is, if you observe my NX file here, once the cloud is being added, my runner would change. It'll change my NX runner from the task runner, which is the local value within my app, to the NX cloud. It'll connect to the cloud. And then it'll also provide an access token. So you can keep it private to your workspace. So here, if you see the terminal says you can claim your workspace. So you can individually create one NX cloud for your company's workspace and maintain across all your projects there. Now, because this task runner is changed, if I run a yarn build at this point, the point where it goes ahead and checks for the cache is now pointing to the cloud instead of pointing to my local. So that's the reason it'll rebuild the whole thing again, because currently the cloud doesn't have any cached versions of my builds. So once these three are built from scratch, now you get this link where you can go ahead and view it on your NX cloud. So if you see here, these three are my individual packages, and this says that it has missed from the cache. If I go ahead and rerun the command, it'll automatically take it from the cache, which we already saw. But we also get to know through the app cloud here that it's being picked up from the local cache. So there's remote cache, there's local cache, and only when the cache is missed is when the whole process runs once again. Another small capability of NX, what I want to point out is you have something called as NX graph. It's a pictorial representation of how your projects are connected. So let's say you're dealing with a huge application in your team and a new team member joins in. This is a perfect place for that team member to go and look into. So all your packages will be defined here. You can either individually click on them to identify how they are linked, or you can directly go into this show all projects and it'll give you that linked graph of all your projects across this monorepo. Okay, so yeah, so now I'm guessing we have like pretty much got a basic understanding of how a monorepo works. So now that we know what a monorepo and how it works, I would also want you to understand what are the downsides of it. Again, I've kept it very simple and relatable because we have all the projects within a single repository. We would have a large amount of code maintained in a single repo, and that results towards many commits, too many pull requests, and a lot of code reviews. Right now, GitHub has a little limited nature with respect to the notification settings. So there might be, I wouldn't call it a struggle, but you will have to keep in mind as to what changes you have made during the code reviews so that everyone's on the same line. But one major pain point with respect to monorepos is if your main branch is broken. It literally is a standstill point for all the new kind of development which takes place, because each of your development is through the main branch. You branch out from the main branch. So given a point where your main is broken, the priority becomes to fix that first, and only then you can go ahead with all your other development as such. Okay, so we spoke a lot. So I would like to summarize what we did today. We understood what a monorepo is. How do we create one? What are the different tools available to create a monorepo? And in the demo, we saw how I had created a monorepo setup and how we added the leverages of NX with respect to caching, the cloud, and the graph. And additionally, now that we learned this much, we also discussed upon the pros and cons of how do we use a monorepo. So the last bit of it here, I would like to also give an introduction to our product. This is the similar setup how we have used within CK12, our company. So we have a AI tutor bot. It's an edtech firm mainly promoted to for the students to be able to have a tutor along at every point in time. So we want to make sure that each student gets their own personalized tutor. So in terms of tech, you see that it's a very similar structure. We have our component library, which is equivalent to atoms. And you have your app header, where this is our header maintaining the user state. We have a global search bar, which any topic you search into, it'll go into the whole of CK12 content and find the answer for you. And a student can start learning any topic with respect to their grade or the subject which they're dealing on. So let's say if today in their schools, they've been taught a particular topic, maybe on area of a circle or so, they can either look into geometry, or if they're into like grade 8, they can go into that and find it. But what I want to show you is the AI bit of tutor of ours. So let me show you an example of a very simple question. And there's science and math, and there are curious questions as such. So this is something interesting, which is Are humans related to trees? So it generates an AI answer for you, or it tries to look out whether we in our CKIT will have this content available. So right now for this question, we have the CKIT content available. This is an interactive way of learning things. There are a lot more interactivities available for the students to learn in a better manner. And there are also, let's say, yeah, there are also ways of uploading your math questions. Let's say I have a homework to do with, and I'm not able to understand this question easily. I've taken a very simple question, but it can get as complex as whatever the student wants to ask. So once I upload this, right now you observe that this is an AI generated answer. So the bot looked into our CK12 content. It figured out that this exact question was not available in our content. So it made sure to go through the LLM models, what we run, and then generated an AI answer for it. Let's say you kind of did not clearly understand what this explanation was. So you can go ahead and rephrase your answers as well. And if there's a topic which is quite difficult to understand, or you're not able to wrap around your head with, there are various ways of analogies through which you can learn a particular topic. So in this case, it's helping you understand how to solve this problem with respect to a musical analogy. And how this is being chosen is, let it end, I'll let you know. So this gives you a detailed understanding, right? Like, say if you're really interested into music, it kind of helps you understand in detail as to how to solve this problem. And here, if I go back, if you see my profile, you observe that I've provided my interest in music, sport, and food. So I'll try to generate answers in that way. So it can give you in either of these interests what you have selected out. So this is pretty much a very simple glimpse of our product, what we are using right now. And we are currently giving away the free early access to students across this product. So I would love all of you to reach out to folks, any of the students that you know who would be able to use this product very well, and definitely give us feedbacks on how we are doing in terms of this product. With that, I would like to conclude my talk. This is the repo that I've used to explain the mono repository. So you can go ahead, make use of it, try to create your own repos. I would love to see what all you guys create, since this is a new audience, and since I'm hoping I've justified on how to create a mono repo. So I would love to see all of you show me what you kind of want to create out of it. So yeah, thank you for that.
Before we move to Slido, can we have a huge round of applause for Supriya? It was our first talk and it went very awesome. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have now learned about monorepos. And yes, if you are passionate about tech and you know anything, right, be it be very simple topic, just to reach out to us. And you never know who you might be our speaker for next month. Cool. Before we move ahead, let's break the ice. So if you could hire one superhero in your dev team, who would be it? Any answers? People hit up your phone and share some answers with us. Iron Man, Spider-Man,
and
Doctor.
everyone, please keep it safe for work. All right. So obviously, Iron Man always wins the chart, but let's see. Someone said smile, by the way. So what is happening, everyone? Regardless, we want all of you to scan this QR code and join Slido, because you will be able to ask questions for our group Q&A later on. So that is why this is a very important part of the experience.
I sometimes wonder, like, if we ask this question in any of the meetups, people, or even this same question was used in React Nexus, and people said it was Iron Man. I am still wondering, like, will he actually work for 9 to 5, or will he get all his work done from Jarvis?
Okay, Batman and Shaktiman.
Who have watched Shaktiman? Who are 90s kids here? And who are a 90s kid and who have not watched Shaktiman? It was fun. Cool. Let's move ahead. Now we are planning to do something interesting, but it needs everybody's collaboration. Else it would be like just a fail. This is a new thing which we are planning to do. We don't know how will it go. But means our team feels that people love open discussions, and we are a room of 150. We are 150 people in this room, and everybody works in their own amazing space every day. So let's learn from each other. So I have posted one question on this. Let's try to have different answers so that everybody knows few things. How many of you use CSS? Anybody who have not used CSS? Nobody, right? So how do you do that CSS? Are you using CSS modules or that plain CSS? Are you using a CSS library, or are you using what do you call CSS with using JS? Don't answer immediately. Just raise your question. I will pass the baton there. How have you used CSS so far?
So we can have quick show of hands, everyone. And this is a judgment-free zone, everyone. This is your community. Nobody is judging you. So please feel free to come forward. Take the spotlight. Yeah.
So mostly Tailwind or inline CSS.
So before answering question, it would be great if you can like say your name and where do you work, and then you can answer the question.
Correct. Yeah. Do you want to try again?
So Chintan here, I work at Intuit as SD1, and I have mostly used Tailwind or inline JS mostly. Not for work, also for side projects mostly.
One follow-up question. What do you use in Intuit with CSS? Do you have your component library or what? Do you want to throw some light?
So at Intuit, we have a altogether a component library called App Fabric. We use that, and that has a design system altogether. So yeah.
Okay, one more question. Okay. We also have our library. We have Razorpay, have Blade. Anybody who knows about Blade? I guess, see, there are a few hands. So we are trying to make people adopt it. So in Intuit, the component library which you have, is it like everybody who starts a new project, they have to use that, or it is an opt-in, opt-out? Do you want to tell more about it?
So I am actually a backend developer, like working as a backend developer right now, so can't comment on that.
Got it.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Devendra and I have used CSS module. You have now SAS. So I use it regularly whenever I create something, whenever I'm working on a project.
You forgot to mention, where do you work?
I work in Text Mercado.
So in your office, what is the CSS you use?
I use SAS, as I told you.
Correct.
And I use that only.
And do you have same question?
And I use a library called &design, and in that I customize it CSS with SAS.
Nice. One last question. Do you also have component library in your organization?
No, we don't have any other library. We use &design.
Hello everyone, I'm Himanshu Dhanwanta. I'm also working at Intuit as a SD1. So like I just recently joined, but for my side projects, like I generally like to use traditional CSS. It's simple and it's easy to use. I have tried Tailwind and other things also, but like it is not work for me. So yeah, and also at Intuit, like generally like I am in front end, so we are not given the choice, like we have to use the app fabric. So that's how it is.
Nice.
Anyone else? This is your chance to get the spotlight, everyone. Maybe there are some hiring managers in the audience. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I am Ankit, working at Geeky Hands. So I am not using any CSS libraries. In fact, we are building our own universal styling engine. So that works on React and React Native both. And also we do have our own component library. So that is universal and accessible. So yes, we are building our own component library as well as styling engine.
I am Aman Zaid and I am using Tailwind CSS and I work for an enterprise grade company and we have our own component library. We call it our own UI kit and we make it accessible throughout our project and we set up everything. Our project is set up in a mono repo style, which the earlier talk was about. So it was really fun to have that talk.
Thank you so much. Anybody who use style components or emotion here?
Yeah, hi, I'm Saurabh. I work at Razorpay and we use style components a lot. Even our design system is built on top of style components. So we just mostly build components and then rest of the other teams in Razorpay, they use our components. But if they want to build anything custom, then they use style components.
One question on top of it. What do you think in terms of performance? You know, whether style components or emotion, like CSS in JS is better or writing a native CSS is better?
So I think in terms of performance, style components is horrible. Almost every CSS and JS is horrible. But eventually, if you're writing native, then it's going to give you a better performance. But the problem with native is it's really difficult to maintain, especially when you're working in a large org. So CSS and JS is more towards development experience. There are few CSS and JS libraries which might be a bit more better. I think Vanilla Extract is one, which is where you write CSS and JS, but it extracts the CSS and gives you the final CSS. But yeah, I think in terms of style components, it's mostly better for DX. Might not be so good for performance, but yeah.
Yeah. So a huge round of applause for everyone who took that spotlight. Yeah. So this is good. I think we can move to the second topic of the day.
Let's just like we discussed this CSS and JS, right? Let's also talk about something more not controversial as in, but web animations. Who love web animations here?
Come on, everyone.
I'm pretty sure there are people who do a lot of things. Like I know Purvi makes a lot of amazing things with this. Okay, so let's discuss what are the techniques you use for adding animations in your work and in your projects. Anybody who want to?
Yeah, we'll take someone from this side as well. You have been eerily quiet, everyone. Yeah. Anyone from here? Okay, we have one.
Hello, my name is Shivam. I work at Terribly Tiny Tales as an SD. So basically, we use animations. Majorly, we use Animate on Scroll. It's an NPM library. Over there, we use style components. I write animations by hand in CSS. It's nothing much. But at my company, animations are literally frowned upon because of the performance lag they cause. Apart from that, I have never used any custom-based library from Animate on Scroll.
Got it. I have a follow-up question. Would you like to throw some light to our audience? In what situation a person should use a CSS animation, and in what situations a person should use JS-based animation?
Depends on the conditions you're using of your repository as well and your main project. For us, that are animations we use, it's very reusable. So we use JS animations because once we create it, we can reuse anywhere.
Anybody?
Yeah, hi, I'm Tanmay Shah. I work at O slash. So yeah, I am for animations like we at O slash. Our front end is mainly based on Svelte. So we use Svelte's inbuilt animation tool. So we use the Svelte tick thing. So Svelte and Svelte kit comes with a tick performance. So they use the inbuilt CSS animation like behind the curtain, and so we use that. And like adding to your answer, let's say, I mean, you told, right, like when should we use CSS animation and JS animation? So I mean, like there are some cases where you can't do something with CSS animation. For us, so what we are doing is like we wanted that typewriter effect. So like we are an OpenAI wrapper. So the answer that you give, it should come as a typewriter effect, right? So you are producing that typewriter effect in CSS. It's like not possible at all. So for that, you have to use JS. And yeah, for like we used to produce that typewriter effect, we built our own Svelte animation for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, hi-fi. I am also using Svelte in production. It's very difficult to find people who use Svelte in production. So Svelte is amazing.
So this is Apramay Das, and I also work in Intuit. I came here with my friends. So I would like you to point towards a different side of animation. So most of the animations that you see are 2D animations. So one of the pet projects that I worked on, it involved creating 3D Indian Sign Language animations. So for that, I used this really cool library called 3JS. So I would like to point you guys towards exploring the 3JS library. So in that library, what you can do is you can import models, 3D models from Blender or some other similar software, and then use those models to create animations in your projects. So that's a header for a cool library called 3JS. Make sure you explore that library.
Claps for adding that context. Yeah. So just a second. We will have a 15 minutes BR, which is break. Yeah. And this is the QR code, everyone, for submitting your proposals for call for speakers. Don't worry that your talk has to be very polished. You need to be, very good presenter in order to submit. No, first time speakers are always welcome. So please make sure you give it a try, right? And apart from that, if you need any help, you can contact any one of us. If you need help in polishing your talk, if you need us to review your talk, which we usually do. But yeah, we would be happy to support. And what is the number of people you should meet today? Anyone? 5? Yes. So I hope you all remember that. Please do not just talk to your friends, talk to others. If you run out of topics to talk about, just ask what one funny thing or a good funny project they have created using technology, using React, using JavaScript, right? Or yeah, so that can be the one. So on that note, how's the Josh? Can we hear that loud? How's the Josh? Yeah. So we are pausing for a break, everyone. Yeah, we'll see you again in 15 minutes. Yes, yes. So we don't know, like, let's say I was person is working on
she works as a software development engineer too. Means she have good enough years of experience in this industry, and she also have a amazing blog. So she ships out different blogs on JavaScript and everything in the tech. Very recently, you can go and check out her blog also. She writes on Medium.
So yeah, with a huge round of applause, let's welcome Ruchi as our second speaker.
Till the time Ruchi sets up, how many of you used call stack and micro task queue in your day-to-day work? Or maybe you have used about, I'm pretty sure everybody would have used about it. Don't you use promises? Internal, it uses micro task queue and callback. So I'll give it to Ruchi. She'll throw more light on it.
Hi everyone, thanks Smile. Yeah, so I hope all of you are having a good time over here. Is it? Yeah. So I hope you in this short break you might have connected with like-minded people and must have shared something and learned something new, I hope. And you guys are making most out of your time, out of this opportunity over here. Is it? Yes. Can I hear some noise? So let's start. So I will give a quick introduction. So how this session will go is, this will be very interactive session. In this whole session, I'll be asking you a couple of questions and I expect the answer from all of you, okay? So first of all, I'll give a quick introduction about myself and then I'll quickly jump on to today's topic of callback queue versus microtask queue. I'm sure everyone must have used this callback queue and microtask queue in your day-to-day life when you are coding JavaScript. Is it? Yeah, so today I have 30 minutes and within this 30 minutes, my aim is to add value in this 30 minutes in your life and by expanding your knowledge on microtask queue and callback queue. So once you leave this particular thing, particular venue, my aim is that you should be crystal clear that what is the difference between callback queue and microtask queue and how is it helpful and why is it needed to understand that particular thing. Okay, so let's start. So coming to introduction. So my name is Ruchi. I work as a SD2 at a company called as Beacon Stack. So please forgive me for my slides. Currently, I'm working on a very tight deadline project, and I thought that tomorrow, like yesterday, in the second half, I would just finish my work and prepare slides, but I couldn't. So please forgive me for the slides. I think Supriya had done a really good job with the slides, but please forgive me for that. So my slides would be very basic, but my aim is to provide you with the best knowledge that I can. So coming to my story, so I started my journey as an SD by joining an e-commerce startup, which was based out of in Mumbai, wherein I worked as a SD1, and there the tech stack was ROR, Ruby on Rails. So in this 1 year, I got the opportunity to work on Ruby on Rails, and since it was a startup, I also got an opportunity to work on AWS. So I was given the admin access of AWS console, so which is very rare that you get early in your career. So I am really fortunate for that opportunity. But I always wanted to learn JavaScript and explore JavaScript because I was really scared, to be very honest, कि asynchronous कैसे चलता है वो तो समझता ही नहीं था मुझे, और कैसे कोड भागता है वो तो समझता ही नहीं था. So I was really curious about that. So in my second job, I got the opportunity to learn JavaScript, but it was very challenging because not only I had to learn JavaScript, but I also had to pick up Angular. And as you all might agree, Angular has a really steep learning curve if you are not coming from, especially if you are not coming from JavaScript background. So yeah, that is about me. So currently I work at Beacon Stack as an SD2, and I work on technologies like Angular, and currently I have also picked up Next.js. So yeah, this is about me. Bore नहीं करूँगी, आगे चलते हैं. So So let's start with our today's topic of microtask queue versus callback queue. So as I mentioned earlier, I'll keep this session interactive. So I'll ask a couple of questions and I need honest answer from all of you guys. Okay, are you in? Are you in?
Yes.
Yeah. So my first question is, how many of you are currently working on JavaScript or you would want to work on JavaScript? I know this is a very dumb question because we are coming here for JS lovers and JS community and I'm asking this question. But I want all of you to answer this question. Is everyone working on JavaScript? Okay. And how many of you are scared of JavaScript? How JavaScript works under the hood समझता ही नहीं है. It's me. और कोई नहीं, सब बहुत इंटेलिजेंट है, मुझे भी सिखा दो जावास्क्रिप्ट. है कोई? किसी को नहीं लगता है ऐसा कि what is happening under the hood nobody understands? Okay, there are few people over here. Thank you. And how many of you guys tried to understand JavaScript but could not understand much from online resources? कि ये कैसे चलता है समझता ही नहीं है, बहुत ट्राई किया, YouTube देखा या you went on Medium, you went on other paid resources, but it was very difficult to understand or crack at the first time. How many of you guys raise hand? I was the one. बस सबको बाकी सबको JavaScript समझता है. Great, great, great. Then I think next time from any one of you, smile. I think you have speakers now. इनमें से ही कोई smile, you have speakers now. So ठीक है, I'll take it forward. But even I was the one at your place some time back. I could not completely understand how JavaScript works. So I'll start from very basic and then I'll build up the concept on that. So are you guys with me? Okay. So I'll go to the next slide. Please forgive me for the slides. मैंने images जो भी मिले करके ऐसे करके चिपका के कर दिया है, ये slides बना दिया है. But I'll go forward. So it is said that JavaScript is a single-threaded synchronous language. But then where does this concept of asynchronous come into picture? किसी ने question सोचा ही है? Yeah. Do you want to answer? So are you trying to answer why JavaScript is single-threaded? Okay. Okay, but why is it said that it is single-threaded and synchronous then? It does has the concept of asynchronicity, right? Everyone agrees to this? कभी सोचा है? मुझे सोने नहीं देता था. I have completely I'm like कैसे होता है ये? You are right on your part. You are saying that that means by your thing, I understand that you agree that asynchronicity is a thing in JavaScript, right? Sure, thanks. So I'll start by giving you a ऐसे थोड़ा like introduction about JavaScript, how it evolved over a time. That will give you the answer of what is asynchronicity and how all these things work under the hood. So originally in the initial days of JavaScript, the main purpose of JavaScript was to add interactivity to your website. So पहले की websites, if you check, behavior come into the picture. Okay, I'll just ये ऐसे दिखता था old websites on old browsers. And इसमें why we were using JavaScript was कि अगर कोई mouse click कर दिया, कोई ऐसा event आ गया, तो जो हम लोग ने div show hide करके दिखाया उसको show कर दो या hide कर दो, ऐसा कुछ एकदम minimal interactivity. So for minimal interactivity, JavaScript was being used. But फिर जो US वाले सिलिकॉन वैली वाले हैं वो लोग तो ऐसा they were like अरे इतना थोड़ी ना, हमको तो और चाहिए, कुछ और करवाना है. And back then even browser was in their initial days, तो इतना advancement नहीं था browser में. Okay, browser could only support this much of thing. So एक question before I go forward, where does this JavaScript run? Web browser. So for JavaScript, web browser is the whole and sole thing. Do you guys agree to that? Yes. Okay. So now to run JavaScript, अभी जावास्क्रिप्ट को भी थोड़ा मतलब एडवांस करने के लिए इवन वेब ब्राउजर हैज टू स्ट्रगल. So now with but over a period of time, like browser became very smart and they started providing some more superpowers to JavaScript. So JavaScript तो था ही, but web browser support नहीं करता था और कुछ चीजें. So with advancement, just give me a second. But over a period of time, browser became very smart and they started providing some superpowers to JS, and using this superpower in combination with JavaScript led to the concept of asynchronous JavaScript. Are you guys understanding? Any questions up till here? Now the question is, what is this superpower? किसी को question आया दिमाग में? मेरे दिमाग में तो पहले ही question आया था कि what is the superpower then? Sorry? Correct. Web APIs. Anyone else? Sorry? Correct. You are on. Yeah. Agreed. Same. But I'll explain you in deep nahi, but concept समझा दूंगी. Okay, just trust me on that. So superpowers of JavaScript, ये भी image Google से ही उठा के डाला हुआ है. So yes, as someone said, ये superpowers क्या है? तो superpower is nothing but web APIs. Okay. So browser became smarter and browser started giving some APIs called as browser APIs or web APIs. There are different kinds of, and there are many web APIs given by browser, and a few of them are that we use in our day-to-day life is fetch, set timeout. Someone said there timer. So JavaScript बहुत dumb था. Okay, just understand in this way. JavaScript dumb था. JavaScript के पास timer और उसका समझ नहीं था. So उसको वेब ब्राउजर ने दिया कि ये ले मैं तुझे थोड़ा सपोर्ट देता हूँ. So now ऐसा हो गया कम्युनिटी में कि JavaScript is smarter, but it's not that JavaScript is smarter, but a web browser gave the superpower to JavaScript, and because of that currently JavaScript is the most booming technology. And because of web browser ने superpower तो दिया, but it created a lot of confusion among developers. That gave the concept of asynchronicity. And today, all of us struggle how this asynchronous JavaScript works. Okay, are you guys with me? Understood? Okay. So yeah, there are many web APIs as mentioned, but few of them that we use in our day-to-day life is fetch and set timeout. Just to keep things simple and to understand the concept, मैं अभी सिर्फ fetch and set timeout के बारे में ही I'll take the example with fetch and set timeout, but you can extend this particular example to any of the web APIs, okay, which are asynchronous. Okay, and also not to forget, this fetch and set timeout are nothing but callback functions. Are you guys aware of callback functions? Callback function, okay. Are you guys aware of callback hell? Understood? Okay. So if you have any doubts related to callback or promises or async, feel free to visit my blog. I have written a detailed blog about it. So let's understand how this works, okay? So before that, so the villain of asynchronous JavaScript is nothing but web API, and because of which all the developers are scared. But trust me, once you understand this, you will really appreciate the beauty of JavaScript and things will start making sense. And अगर मैनेजर आया कि अरे ये बग है सॉल्व कर दो और वो प्रोमिसेस की वजह से रुक गया, तो you will be in a position कि you will find out something, okay? So have you guys faced this scenario? I have faced this very much in my early career. Like if there is an API call, ऐसे JavaScript का कोड लिखा है, there is an API call, okay? And you have written some console statements, but वो API call खत्म नहीं हुआ और उसके पहले the next line of code started working. Like उसने console का statement दे दिया. Have you guys faced this? How many of you? Yeah, everyone. तो कभी किसी ने सोचा ये क्यों हो रहा है, कैसे हो रहा है? नहीं? So I was the one, I couldn't sleep. I had almost, because of this, in my final year of my project, जो वेब का प्रोजेक्ट होता है, जो वेबसाइट दिखाना होता है, उसमें आई जस्ट शेयर दिस स्टोरी बिकॉज इवन आई हैव फेस दिस मल्टीपल टाइम्स. आई कुडंट अंडरस्टैंड कि आगे कैसे बढ़ रहा है, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट आई कुड नॉट प्रेजेंट माई प्रोजेक्ट टू फॉर ग्रेडिंग. सो आई वॉज फॉर्चुनेट इनफ कि मैं तो घर जा रही थी. आई एम लाइक आई एम गोइंग टू फ्लंक, मैं फेल होने वाली हूँ. बट वन ऑफ माई फ्रेंड्स इज लाइक अरे आई यू मैड, जस्ट टेक माई प्रोजेक्ट. इमेज इधर से चेंज किया और हम लोग ने दिखा दिया. ओके, दैट आई सर्वाइव. बट it was very difficult initially when I joined the industry to survive. So I had to make this effort to learn this. Okay. But how many of you have also experienced that if you write the API using a promise, तो थोड़ा बराबर चलता है, तो थोड़ा predictability पता भी चलता है. Have you guys experienced this? Promise लिखो तो थोड़ा समझता भी है कि कैसे synchronously काम करता है, वरना किधर भागता है, जावास्क्रिप्ट समझता नहीं था. किसने किसने ये फेस किया है प्लीज? बस इतने ही लोगों ने फेस किया है. अच्छा ओके, ठीक है. So I'll explain this with the help of an example, not a live demo, but मैंने ये लिया हुआ है from my blog itself. Just spare me for this. I did not have time to prepare, so I just took the snapshot from that only. Is the code visible? Is the code visible? Or should I zoom in? ऐसा zoom in करूँ? I think yeah, that would be. Do I have to go on the? Yeah. Just go to the code snippet. Okay. I hope the code snippet is visible. I hope the code snippet is visible. Everyone? Last में भी दिख रहा है ना? ठीक है, okay. So this code is very simple. First is console statement, that is start, and set timeout. Set timeout, as I mentioned, is a browser thing. Browser से आता है. ये JavaScript के पास इसका functionality नहीं है. This is coming from web browser. And the other statement on line number 3 is also set timeout. And then there is this console log end statement. Okay. Now this set timeout is nothing but a callback function. And callback function का यही है कि पता नहीं चलता कैसे चल रहा है. So how I am with this example, I am trying to explain how callback queue works under the hood. Okay. So before I start, everyone knows about event loop. Does everyone over here knows about event loop? Okay. So I'll just give a introduction in one line. I think वो समझ जाएगा. इतना deep में नहीं जाती हूँ मैं. So event loop is a mechanism which is responsible for managing and executing task in a non-blocking manner. Basically अपने घर का चौकीदार है. Okay. वो देखते रहता है क्या हो रहा है, कौन आ रहा है, कौन जा रहा है. Okay. Do you guys understand call stack? Everyone? Call stack? So it's call stack, its task or responsibility is to keep track of the active function call. तो अगर फंक्शन कॉल हो रहा है तो समझेगा कॉल स्टैक पे हम लोग डालते जाते हैं स्टैक पे कि कौन सा करंट एक्टिव फंक्शन कॉल चल रहा है. ओके. Even if you don't understand all these jargons, just bear with me. Once I'll cover this particular example, you will understand it. And coming to callback queue, as the name suggests, it keeps track of the callback functions. Okay. Okay. So here जैसे set timeout है, वैसे ही हम लोग fetch भी use कर सकते हैं. Okay. This is just to give you an example. मैंने इधर set timeout रखा है, एकदम simple example के लिए. Okay. So starting from line number 1. Okay. Just a second. So can you guys memorize this for a second? Memorize as in के first is start, then it is set timeout set at 1 second, that is 1000 millisecond, and then there is this set timeout which is set at 0 second. Okay. And then there is this console statement which prints end. So I'll explain you how this work in terms of web browser, in terms of event loop, call stack and callback queue. कि callback queue और call stack पे कैसे जाता है, and event loop का क्या ये है, okay? Okay. So our line number 1 was a console statement that said start. Okay. Now coming to this particular picture. So इसमें there is this call stack, there is web browser, there is event loop. Imagine कि event loop भी है. इसका role क्या है मैं explain करूंगी. And at any point of time, if you don't understand this, just raise your hand. Okay. This is very important to understand. Then there is this callback queue. Okay. So I'll first start. कि पहले हम लोग I'll start with call stack. So call stack is, as I mentioned, कि वो current function कौन सा है, it tracks that. So coming to line number 1, line number 1 was console statement. So our program starts, it goes to call stack, और call stack में since it was just a console statement, it will be popped out of this call stack, and line number 1 will be printed on the web browser. Okay. तो स्टार्ट प्रिंट हो गया, अज्यूम ऐसा करो स्टार्ट प्रिंट हो गया. नाउ कमिंग टू लाइन नंबर 2. ओके, नाउ लाइन नंबर 2 जैसे ही, एंड ये सब कोड इज गेटिंग एग्जीक्यूटेड ऑन वेब ब्राउजर. ओके, सो दिस इज वेब ब्राउजर इन दिस सेकंड थिंग. सो लाइन नंबर 2 आए, वेब ब्राउजर अंडरस्टूड दैट दिस इज सेट टाइम आउट, दिस इज माय थिंग टू एग्जीक्यूट, बट इट इज गोइंग टू टेक सम टाइम सिंस इट्स अ कॉल बैक क्यू एंड इट हैज सम इट विल नीड सम टाइम. So in our case, अगर API call है तो API call को भी time लगने वाला है in case of fetch. So what will happen is it will go to web browser and then line number 3 भी जाएगा since it's a it's a callback function set timeout. So that will also go to web browser. Okay, and then it will execute. ये time पे it will also go to. I'll explain you. So understand that अभी ऐसा इमेज रखो दिमाग में कि स्टार्ट प्रिंट हो गया है, कॉल स्टैक एम्प्टी है, वेब ब्राउजर के पास लाइन नंबर 2 एंड लाइन नंबर 3 गया है. अभी वेब ब्राउजर के पास है, वो वेब ब्राउजर ने अभी तक किसी को दिया नहीं है, उसको कुछ नहीं किया है उसका. ओके, एंड देन लाइन नंबर 4 गॉट एग्जीक्यूटेड एंड एंड गॉट प्रिंटेड. ओके, इट वेंट टू द कॉल स्टैक से प्रिंट होके पॉप होके चला गया. ओके, नाउ कमिंग टू वेब ब्राउजर. वेब ब्राउजर के पास 2 लाइन है. ओके, लाइन नंबर 2 एंड लाइन नंबर 3. So what it does is, since it is going to take some time, it is a callback function. What it will do is it will push into the callback queue. Callback queue में कभी वो push करेगा. Okay. So the thing is कि web browser ने execute कर लिया. Okay. Our line number 2 was taking 1 millisecond and line number 3 was taking 0 seconds. Okay. So ideally line number 3 will finish first. Okay. So वेब ब्राउजर ने अपना काम कर लिया, उसने एग्जीक्यूट कर लिया वो दोनों चीज को, एंड नाउ वेब ब्राउजर विल पुश इट इनटू कॉलबैक क्यू. ओके, सो दिस इज नथिंग बट लाइन नंबर 3 विल बी पुश टू कॉलबैक क्यू सिंस जो सेट टाइम आउट था वो 0 था. ओके, 0 विल टेक लेस टाइम कंपेयर टू 1 second. डू यू गाइज अग्री? आर यू गाइज विथ मी? एनी डाउट्स? एनी डाउट्स एट दिस पॉइंट? ओके, गुड. So it will go to callback queue. And then line number 2 will also get executed. एक 1 second में उसका भी काम खत्म हो गया. तो वेब ब्राउजर ने अपना आउटपुट कॉलबैक क्यू को दे दिया. So it will be line number 3 and then line number 2. Okay. Now ये सब चीज now अभी कुछ भी काम करने के लिए whatever is executed in JavaScript has to go through call stack. Okay. ये यूनिवर्सल रूल है कि कॉल स्टैक किधर भी डालो, माइक्रोटैक्स क्यू में डालो, कॉल बैक क्यू में डालो, जाना तो चाहिए लास्ट में कॉल स्टैक में. सो हाउ वी विल इंश्योर दैट कि कभी हम लोग को कॉल बैक क्यू से कॉल स्टैक में डालना है. सो दैट इज बीइंग डन बाय आवर चौकीदार इवेंट लूप. ओके, आर यू गाइज विथ मी? अंडरस्टूड? सो व्हाट डज इवेंट लूप डज इज, वो चौकीदार जैसे ऐसे ही बैठे होते हैं, सो इवेंट लूप भी ऐसे ही बैठा है, वो कंटिन्यूसली चेक करते जाता है कि कॉल बैक क्यू में क्या आया और कॉल बैक क्यू में है बट कॉल स्टैक एम्प्टी है या नहीं. It will only execute. Event loop will pick up the task from callback queue to call stack only when the call stack is empty. Okay. So event loop checks if call stack is empty and the global code is finished running. मतलब जो भी ऊपर नीचे का जो भी कोड है वो खत्म हुआ कि नहीं. जैसे ही उसको पता चला event loop को कि ये खत्म हो गया है, what callback queue event loop will do is it will pick up the task and push it to call stack. Since पहले आया था ये line number 3 because it had 0 time to execute. Line number 3 आया था, उसने call stack पे डाल दिया line number 3 and line number 3 will be printed. Okay. अभी call stack खाली हुआ, वापस event loop ने callback queue से उठाया और उसने line number 2 को डाल दिया. So at the end callback queue खाली, call stack खाली and we got our output. Sorry. I hope the code is visible. Wait. Just spare me for this slide. I hope it is visible. I hope it is visible. Start is printed first. Coming to our code snippet, console.log start, print हो गया. Line number 2 and line number 3 went into web browser का thing, callback queue में चल के आया, तो उसको time लगा, so end got printed, and then it is second callback function. Since उसको 0 था उसका timing, तो ये print हुआ second callback function and then first callback function got printed. I can hear a lot of noise. तो समझा या नहीं समझा? What do I take it this as? समझा? How does callback queue work? 100%? Any questions? Anyone? Okay. As I mentioned earlier, कि ये set timeout की जगह पे आप fetch भी use कर सकते हो. Okay. So fetch is nothing but मतलब fetch use किया तो वो भी API call हुआ. API call को भी time लगेगा. और ऐसा भी हो सकता है since it is fetch is nothing but a callback thing. तो उसमें क्या हो सकता है कि we don't know which API will be which API will take how much time to give the response. So at that point of time, the code becomes unpredictable. कि कौन सा particular imagine that line number 2 and line number 3 are nothing but two different API calls. Okay, so I don't know which one will give me the response faster. किसी का line number 3 में जो line number 2 में जो fetch API है, उनका server कुछ फटा हुआ है. You don't know, there is a delay. So you will never be able to predict कि कौन सा code कभी चलेगा. Okay. So this was callback queue. अभी coming to my question कि callback queue तो ठीक है. अभी इसका predictability कैसे लेकर आए code में? So for that reason we have promises. As I mentioned earlier कि promises use करके सबको ऐसा लगता है हाँ अभी थोड़ा code में predictability आया. Are you guys with me? So what is promises? So JavaScript को ऐसा लगा कि यार ये callback introduce करके developers को मैं दूर कर रहा हूँ अपने से. So now to introduce predictability in the code, they came up with promises. Promises is like पहले callback किया, पता कुछ आंसर नहीं आया, फिर promise हाँ मैं कर दूंगा. ऐसा types promises was introduced. Now what are the disadvantages of callback queue? Callback queue का यही है, predictability नहीं है, हमको पता नहीं है कैसे. So how do we introduce predictability is the promises. But अभी हम लोग के पास है minimum resources, callback queue, call stack, event loop, web browser, यही चीजें है. तो predictability के लिए they introduced a new queue that is nothing but a microtask queue. I'll also explain you the example of microtask queue and how callback queue. I'll give you an example. I'll explain you the example in which callback queue, मतलब callback function and promises दोनों का होगा. So you will understand कि how callback queue works and how microtask queue works. Okay. So my next example will contain callback queue and microtask queue and call stack and other things. Okay. So I'll just. So here is a stepwise explanation. I have just mentioned it. Feel free to go on my blog and read it if needed if you don't understand or if you need. I'm not promoting my blog over here. It's just that I want you that if you are coming here on Saturday, just understand the concept and go. Okay. So as I mentioned, K promises, I'll just quickly just read this. So do we know which part of the code will take how much time to execute? Then how can we predict? To address this issue, we have promises. Promises are a way to handle asynchronous operation in JavaScript, providing a clearer and more organized way to work with asynchronous code compared to using callbacks directly. ये statement read करके मुझे तो पहले glance में कुछ नहीं समझा था, to be very honest. Okay. So now I'll go to microtask queue. So एक चीज understand कर लो कि callback queue and microtask queue होता है ना, so the priority is given to the microtask queue. Microtask queue को हमेशा ऐसा मेहमान जैसा treatment मिलता है. Okay. It is given अगर घर पे कोई मेहमान आता है तो मम्मी will give the priority to microtask queue. अपना कोई वैल्यू नहीं रहता है तभी, correct? So वैसे ही है microtask queue में भी ऐसा ही है. So I'll just go to the code. I'll just zoom in the code part. So this code snippet is also very simple. सिर्फ 4 लाइन का कोड है. Okay. I hope the code is visible. It is same as before. I have just removed के एक set timeout line number 3 से निकाल के promise लिखा है. Okay. So this is nothing but promise dot resolve dot then का function लिखा है. Okay. And promise के अंदर you can write your fetch function or set timeout function to achieve something. Okay. Predictability और ऐसा. You can add any web API thing. But to make things simple, straightforward, मैंने promise के अंदर कुछ भी बड़े jargons नहीं रखे. Okay. So now I'll explain you. So line number 1 is console.log statement start. Line number 2 is nothing but set timeout, which is a callback function. तो उसको callback क्यों चाहिए होगा? Everybody is with me? Everybody is with me? Okay. Now coming to line number 3 is promise. As I mentioned, promise को अच्छा treatment दो, micro task क्यों जाएगा? Okay. ये एक ऊपर का overview दे रही हूँ मैं. Now I'll jump on to how it will be executed under the hood, so that you can achieve predictability. My aim here is to explain you the predictability of the code. Okay. And line number 4 is nothing but अपना old console.log end statement. Okay. I'll just zoom in. I hope this is visible. Oh, okay, just last thing. I hope this is visible. Okay. Coming to मतलब 4 ही line था वो भी. Okay. Now this is call stack. Line number 1 call stack पे गया, browser पे print हो गया. Coming to line number 2 web browser पे आया. That was a callback function. Line number 3 is also a web browser thing. Web browser पे आया. Line number 4 was nothing but a console statement. Call stack पे गया, print हो गया. Okay. So start and end is over. Now the fight is between callback queue and microtask queue. So we have callback queue and microtask queue. So as mentioned, line number 2 will go to callback queue. Line number 3, which was a promise, which will go to microtask queue. Okay. Now, मतलब वेब ब्राउजर को पता चला कि ये कॉलबैक है, ये माइक्रोटास्क क्यू कॉलबैक है, तो कॉलबैक क्यू में जाना चाहिए और इसमें माइक्रोटास्क क्यू. इवेंट लूप में मतलब वेब ब्राउजर ने एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम अपना काम कर दिया है. ओके. एंड नाउ इवेंट लूप चेक्स इफ कॉल स्टैक इज एम्प्टी और नॉट. उसका पहले चौकीदार वाला काम उसने देख लिया कि कॉल स्टैक इज एम्प्टी. सो नाउ इट विल गिव द प्रायोरिटी टू लाइन नंबर 3, which is nothing but present in microtask queue. So line number 3 would be printed. That is from promise करके जो भी line था. And then वापस call stack is empty. Then callback queue is given the priority and line number 2 is printed. Okay. I hope everyone understood what is the difference between callback queue and microtask queue. I hope understood. So this is the output. I hope it is visible. Start, end, from, promise, from, callback. I hope things are clear. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I achieved my task. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Yeah, you can go to my blog anytime and just, if you want, you can just read about it. I have explained in stepwise. And this is thank you. So yeah, if you want to have, if you have any questions or something, feel free to connect to me on LinkedIn or something. Sorry? Oh, okay. If you scan this, you'll go to my LinkedIn profile, and on LinkedIn profile, there is a link to my blog. So please like, share, and subscribe to my blog. Abhi main kar rahi hu publicity, okay? Thanks. Yeah, that's it from my end.
Huge round of applause for Ruchi for that session. Anyone has any question? We can take one. Anyone? Are we on the call?
No, we need to join. Cool, everyone. Now it's time for you all to be energized. It's a quiz time. I suggest everybody you take out your phones. The thing is, the questions are very simple. You can even answer the questions in your sleep. But the thing is, how quickly you can answer. Right? So we have shared the Slido link. Just open it out and let's start joining.
Let's mark that number more than 100, I guess. We have here, all of you. We have prizes, we have t-shirts up for grabs. Everyone.
Yes, on a funny note,
Right, so usually the quiz, how many of you have participated in such quiz before? Okay, how many of you were at React Nexus, the conference? Okay, so some of you have already seen, but yeah, don't worry, these are different questions. Yeah, and most importantly, you will learn something new, right? Winning or losing is just part of the process, but it's not about winning or losing, it's about we learning something new. So let's see. We have 103, that's great. Awesome. Anyone else still joining? Fastest fingers first, right?
105 participants. We have 120 to 125.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention this, but I think, let's see, that you were supposed to enter your real name, not Batman or, you know, something else, because if we can't give a prize to Batman, sadly.
What is this Akhilesh YOLO? What is the story behind it?
You only learn JavaScript once, like
Nice.
that, yeah.
Nice. Every time I think this YOLO is you only live once, but you only learn JavaScript once.
Yeah.
Super.
All right, so shall we begin? Yes or no? How's the Josh?
There are a few people in the back like who just now came. Guys, do you want to participate in the quiz? If yes, open up. Okay.
All right, we'll start in 5, 4,
2-3 people. They are
3.
joining.
Okay, still?
There are
Okay, we have paused the timer.
Okay, just
119.
sorry.
Anyone else?
Who is so confident that they will win the quiz today?
Okay, show some confidence. Yeah.
Only one person. 2, 3. You don't need to type. You need to select.
Yeah, this is MCQ, right? We have all been there. And there is only one correct answer. All right, so I think we can start.
Guys on the back, we'll start.
Yeah. All right, the first question. What is the name of this community? If you get this wrong, this is just for you to understand how this works. So 99, 114 of you have answered. All right. Let's see. I'm 100% sure someone will say something different as well. Yeah. Yeah, 1%. You are the OGs. Yeah. You cannot be defeated. Yeah. So this is JSLovers, everyone. So let's see which one is the correct answer. Indeed, it is. And which tool does Google use to create monorepos?
Nexa, LearnX, Bazel, RushChess.
Six, five, four, three, two, one, and time is up. I think. Okay, 54% you will say Basil. We have a healthy tie between NX and Lerna. How many of you think it's NX? Okay, nobody will raise hand because come on, majority could be wrong. You know that can also happen. So don't. You should stick to your answer. We have had those moments before. So the correct answer is, of course, Basil. A round of applause for everyone who got that right. Yeah. So let's move. I think we have the leaderboard here.
Who is saying racist?
No, this is. So we'll need to use some Gen AI to remove that from the record. Nobody said this. All right. Yeah. So, but yeah, let's keep this safe for work, everyone.
Next which is one of the major benefits by using NX in Lerna? Faster builds using caching, colorful terminal messages, having multiple packages in the single repo. None of the above.
4, 3, 2, 1. And the time is up. Let's see. All right, interesting. Faster builds using caching, 65%. How many of you said having multiple packages in single repository? Okay, would you like to share something about it? Why? No? Okay, he just said no. I just said, okay.
Was this Inky Pinky Ponky?
Anyone else would like to share? Let's see which one is the correct answer. Yeah, indeed, the first one, faster builds using caching. Let's see the next question. How does monorepo speed up development? Your answers are, it allows for easy separation.
Changes to one package reflected across other packages. Debugging code is easier. It provides efficient code review options.
All right, interesting. 76% of you say changes to one package reflected across packages. Yeah, indeed, the first 76% are correct. We have option B at the right answer.
What is the primary purpose of a callback queue in JavaScript? To manage asynchronous tasks and their order of execution, to handle regular function calls and optimize performance, to store variables and data for quick access, to manage the layout and styling of the web.
I think there has been some, yeah, we'll skip this question. There has been some runtime error, I guess. Yeah. All right, so this is the leaderboard. Milan, where is Milan? And Ankit. All right, so this row, which was very quiet in the beginning, now they are killing it. 15 threads. See, yeah, so let's see. Okay. Which type of tasks take precedence in event loop? And your options are micro tasks, macro tasks, both macro tasks and micro tasks, none of the above. All right, so that is done. 85% of you say micro tasks, none of the above, 3%. Let's see. That's indeed the right answer. Here's the next question. Which of the following tasks is usually placed in the micro task queue?
Set timeout callbacks, DOM rendering task, promise callbacks, event listener callbacks.
So we'll see the leaderboard hopefully after this. And this is the second last question. All right, promise callbacks. 7% set timeout. DOM rendering task 5%. And yeah, 88% of you got it right. I think it will be, the leaderboard will be in the end. In the context of event loop, when are micro tasks executed?
After call stack is completely empty and before rendering, immediately after current micro task completes before the next micro task, whenever the browser memory usage is low, or only when explicitly targeted by the developer.
Triggered. So 36% if you say immediately after the current micro task completes before the next micro task. Anyone would like to raise their hand and justify or just talk about it? Yeah, if you were in the 36%. All right, yeah, we have that. So please, please stand up and share your name, where do you work, and you can say your answer. I think you got it wrong.
I voted for second.
You went for the second one? Yeah. Would you like to share why?
Because that is how it works.
Closer. Yeah.
After, I mean, I'll explain. After the call stack is empty, you have tasks in the macro task queue and the micro task queue. The event loop checks if the call stack is empty, and micro tasks are given precedence above macro ones. So the second
anyone would like to counter that?
Yes, correct.
Counter or in favor?
Also one before rendering. What does before rendering means?
All
it's
right.
a very generic term. After the call stack is empty and before rendering. So I think second one should be.
Ruchi, would you like to share something? All right. Let's see.
That's all right.
You were correct. A huge round of applause for him for keeping his stance. Yeah. So that's how what we are saying, right? Majority could be wrong. So let's go for the next question.
This is the last question, FYI. Why are micro tasks important for managing async code?
They prevent memory leaks. Asynchronous tasks don't block the main thread. Provide a way to execute tasks in parallel. And they're not important. 69% of you are saying the option B is right. And 27% say they provide a way to execute. Which one of you think? Let's see. Indeed, the 69% of you are right. They ensure that asynchronous don't block the main thread. And I think that was our last question. Let's see who's the winner. Are you all ready to see the winner? Yes? Yeah. So by the way, all of you are winners because you have participated, but there are people on the leaderboard who are going to win. So a huge round of applause for Tanmay, Kumar, Harsh, and 15 threads, whoever that is.
Yeah. 15 threads.
What's your name?
I'm Gaurav actually, not.
So round of applause for Gaurav for winning the quiz. Yeah. Inviting all of you to come on the main stage and you can receive your prizes. So we will have a top 3, but yeah, I think number 4 and 5, we will give you some NFT. Yeah. So you can download as JPG or PNG, whatever format works. But yeah, great work. Can we have all the winners on stage? Yeah, please a round of applause for all of them for showing. So you can pose for a picture, right? Can you click a picture, please? So if the size doesn't, yeah. Can you please be here in the at the center? Yeah, please. So we have Tanmay, we have Kumar Harsh, and we have 15 threads. That's going in the record, by the way. Yeah. So round of applause for them. Yeah. So thank you for joining, and that's our event, everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to stick around, connect with the speakers. Anyone want to say something? Yeah. Okay. So we wanted to, from the bottom of heart, with our whole heart, we want to thank our speakers, Ruchi and Supriya. A round of applause for them for preparing the presentation and coming on a Saturday. It takes a lot of preparation, right? Weeks at times, and it's not easy. Among you in the audience, there are many future speakers. We hope. So for one last time, we are also going to share this QR code. If you have not, saved it, you can give it a try. There are two types of talks you can actually submit. You can give a 15 minutes lightning talk, or you can give a 30 minutes full talk. So both are welcome. And someone was asking, am I just, I'm just a student. I don't have experience. I'm a fresher. Can I be a speaker? And we would say, why not, right? Definitely there is a process before we qualify the speakers, and Smile and team, they will be keeping that up moving forward. However, if there are multiple speakers who we think can deliver a talk together, so we can also give you that opportunity, right? So please feel free to come forward. Anything you would like to add?
Yeah. Just one more thing I wanted to add, like Yash covered most of it. We are doing all these meetups every month. So if you liked, our meetup, you can just do one help to us. If anybody of your offices, right, can give us a space on probably third last or the fourth Saturday of the month to host a meetup for 2-3 hours for like 150 people, then please do reach out. That actually helps a lot.
Yeah. So with that, on that note, we do have some snacks available right outside. Some ground rules, everyone. Please make sure you keep the place tidy, right? And please use the trash cans. And also, let's keep the safe space. Networking is still on. We would like if you can just be here until 5 p.m. and then you're free to be downstairs. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. So we can do that.
Before we break out for the networking session, can we come and for a photograph?
So it would be great if everyone can come forward and we can have a quick photograph, and then we are open for networking. On that note, everyone, a huge round of applause for all of you for being here. And I hope you enjoyed the session. Please feel free to share your feedback on Meetup.
So I just wanted to add one thing. Okay, I saw that question and usme sabne answer wrong. So I had explained with a very simple example. There is a lot to microtask queue and callback queue. So please read it thoroughly, and the answer was right actually. That was given to 36%. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Taller ones in the back. Select all. Sort by height.